Hello everybody, my name is Diablo57, and I'm coming at you with another epic video. This will be the first video in a series I like to call Diablo 4. Did they fix it? Today's topic is Helltides. But before we get started, did you know that 420 out of 69 doctors recommend that you subscribe to Diablo57 and go check out his Patreon? Anyway, first thing of note, Helltides are now in all world tiers. I think that's kind of cool, because typically, whenever you start a new season, it's like, okay, I have to grind some repetitive nonsense and get enough levels to get to World Tier 3, at least, so I can start doing anything. But now you can start from the beginning, and I think that's cool. Another thing of note is that the chests at the lower levels are all mystery chests, and they all cost 100 cinders. So it's really easy to start getting some gear early. I appreciate that. So that way, you can start getting some gear for your character, starting to get stronger, so you can push up into those later difficulties. There have been some changes to the way that Helltides work that I'm very excited about. First thing of note, there's a new currency. It's these hearts. These hearts are used at an altar to summon a new boss, a Blood Maiden. And it's actually kind of neat. I'm pretty into it, even. It's actually a pretty difficult boss. Think Season 2 with the Blood Altars, but now it's forever. And what's really cool is that as you get the boss to lower health, she starts summoning little boys. Pretty tough little boys as well. And that's fun. That's a fun thing. Also, it's kind of hard earlier on, which I appreciate, given that overall, overworld content becomes very easy after your character gets geared. There's also another system, Helltide Threat, which I also think is neat. Again, reminiscent of the good stuff that they did in Season 2. The more enemies you kill, the higher your threat is, and the more enemies spawn. Used to, density was a big problem. It felt like most of the time that you spent in your Helltide was just trying to find anything to kill at all. Well, now that's not a problem. In fact, sometimes there's almost too much stuff to kill. Which is good. That's not a complaint. That's an observation. So that's definitely not a problem now. They also have this new consumable called a Profane Mind Cage, which will increase the level of your Helltide enemies, which I also think is neat. However, it doesn't stack, and I wish it did. Overworld content becomes easier and easier as your character gets stronger, which, granted, does show a degree of player progression, given that most content is scaling. However, I wish that the overworld content was harder. It'd just be cool if it were harder. Another great addition is that boss materials pretty much drop from everything, including treasure goblins and most normal elites. So you can get exquisite blood and living steel and different things like that in order to work through the progression of in-game bosses. And I think that's pretty neat too. It makes me actually want to go after the treasure goblin, which half the time I would ignore in the past. If I could one-shot it within a reasonable distance, yeah, I'd kill the treasure goblin. But now it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go kill that. I'm gonna go chase that down. Also, new whispers have been added to the map that are directly tied to Helltide progression. That's also neat, because you're going to be doing this anyway, forever. And it allows you to not have to separate your tasks between, am I going to do a Helltide, or am I going to do Whispers? You can do both. Even though Whisper caches are still kind of lackluster, you still get boss materials. And gold. A pretty hefty amount of gold, I might add. Regularly, I've had a couple mil drop from a Whisper cache. So that's neat. Bad stuff. There's not a lot of bad stuff, but there are some things that I would probably adjust. Mystery chests and living steel chests are pretty much still the only chests worth getting. I actively ignore all of the other chests because they're not worth my time to open. It'd be pretty neat if they were. Like if I wanted to go after a specific unique item, like a unique amulet or a unique ring or something. It'd be cool if I could go to those chests, even if they cost more. I'd be like, okay, I specifically need rings right now. It'd be cool if I had a chance at getting a unique ring. That's not how it is right now. It'd be cool if it were different. Also, the rewards from killing Clicks, the big fucky bug boss, could be better. It takes a while to kill. It's easy. It could be harder. It could be a harder boss. But it'd be nice if you were guaranteed at least like one standard unique drop from it. Because it does take a while to kill. I killed it twice, and both times it took me about 15 to 20-ish minutes to kill. Because it has a lot of health, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. I still think that the open world content is too easy. It'd be cool if there were a more permanent system, like the mind cages, that you could adjust on a sliding scale. Hey, you know, it's Tuesday. I feel like having hard Helltides today. And maybe it's a different day. Maybe you didn't have a great day. You're like, okay, maybe I want to turn that down a little bit. Now, one might say, that's just a different difficulty, Dylon. How are they going to do that? Well, you could save your mind cages and put that into a pool. Kind of like with the pit, where you do a little selector box or something. Just an idea. All in all, I would say that the Helltides now are just a more different kind of treadmill. But it's a treadmill that I'm happy to be on. Overall, it feels a lot better. And yeah, I'm into it. So, to answer the question, did they fix it? I would say yes, they did. Before, it felt like you were running around on a timer, trying to open chests. Open chests. But now, it's like you're actually in a Helltide, where there's stuff fighting you constantly. In my personal opinion, it'd just be cool if that stuff were a little harder. Otherwise, it's a very good structure, and I'm glad that they listened. And thank you for listening today. If you'd like to support the channel, visit my Patreon. You can support my channel for $1 a month. I have more stuff about Diablo coming up. I just haven't quite evaluated it thoroughly yet. But I'll be coming at you with more. Thank you.